this video, I'll show you how I painted these 4 fun and colorful pansy varieties, so let's get started. I drew the simple pansy shapes on my Saunders Waterford cold press watercolor block, and I will have the links to this and all the supplies I used in the video description. The petals are painted wet into wet to create soft color shifts. So with these 3 bottom petals, I'm wetting all of them with water and then using a cool bright yellow that will spread out and blend towards the edges. While still wet, I use a warm yellow in the center, and I let this color blend softly with the lighter yellow beneath it. I wet this petal in the back. I'm adding a purple that I mixed from quinacridone rose and phthalo blue, and a little indigo. I'm making it darker where it meets the yellow since it's in shadow, the yellow petals casting a shadow on that back petal there. And I mix a more rosy purple and add it to the outside edge of the petal, letting the wet paper help to blend these colors softly. Back to the yellow petals, and I'm adding the purple spots onto dry paper. The paper here is dry because I want to maintain a hard, distinct edge for these shapes. I use the darker purple to paint these little stripes on the petals, and this really makes it start to look like a pansy. The yellow paint has dried, so this is also on dry paper. I'm using Perylene Violet, which is a somewhat neutral, plummy, grayish purple for the shadows on the inside of the petals. I use a clean and slightly damp brush to soften the edge where it meets the yellow. So I add it on dry paper, then I use a damp brush to blend it out and make it blend softly with that layer beneath it. Now painting the other purple petal in the back now that the first one has dried. Both petals are dry, and I decided to deepen the color on the front purple petal. So I carefully re-wet it and added a glaze of indigo and pinkish purple to deepen that color. I also added that deeper purple to the spots on the yellow petals. Before continuing, I just wanted to share this with you. If you are new to watercolor or ready to level up your skills, then you should check out my Watercolor Tips and Techniques e-guide and video. This explains and demonstrates 10 of the most essential techniques to help you learn and boost your painting skills quickly. It also includes a video where each of these techniques is demonstrated. Just go to createwithora.com/free for the free e-guide and video. Depending on which device you're watching this on, you can also click the top right of your screen and it will open the link in a new tab for you. And I will also have the link listed in the video description as well. Okay, back to the pansies. I'm starting on the orange and yellow pansy while waiting for the first one to dry so I can add more details to that one. So for this one, I'm using warm yellow again and warm pyrrole scarlet, which is a warm red color, to create a deep, vibrant orange. I'm also painting each petal separately on wet paper. While waiting on the yellow pansy to dry, I can go back to the purple pansy and add the fine lines on the petals. I'm using a detail brush and lightly stroking it on the dry paper. Now I'm using the same brush to paint a deeper orange for the flower petal veins on the yellow pansy, and I will speed up this footage just a bit here. I mixed the yellow with a touch of blue for that green center, and adding a little perylene violet around the edges of that shape, and also for the striped designs on the petals. Now I'm using a little white gouache for the centers. The next pansy is more of a bluish purple color, and I used the same purple as before, but mixed in some indanthrone blue for the main color and indigo for the darker areas. I'm painting each petal separately like before on wet paper. For the front bottom petal, I paint this one last, and while it's still damp but not too wet, I added yellow so that it will softly blend outward. You don't want the paint to be, or the paper to be too wet because it'll mix too much and then you can get a green, which you don't want. So just make sure that the paper is damp enough so you have some control over that yellow, and keep a buffer of unpainted paper, that white area between the blue and the yellow. The veins on the petals are painted with a deeper blue and a deeper yellow over that yellow area. Add a little green for that shadow, and indigo for painting the stripes once the petals are dry. The last pansy is a little more challenging as I wet the front 3 petals all at once, and I'm controlling 2 colors blending on all 3 at the same time, with the yellow center and the magenta on the edges. Once I apply all the color, then I rinse and blot my brush and gently coax the colors to blend where they're touching. The magenta color I'm using is Rose of Ultramarine. For the veins on the petals, I use that deep purple I mixed from before, and the stripes in the center area are painted with Perylene Violet. I decided these pansies didn't look complete without the stems, but sadly my camera's memory card filled up and I didn't realize that I didn't capture painting the stems. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, as this helps my small channel to grow and reach more watercolor enthusiasts like you. Also consider subscribing to my channel for more art tips, techniques, and tutorials. And don't forget to visit createwithaura.com/free to get access to the Tips and Techniques e-guide. Until next time, happy painting!